Now, your character in the movie, people are playing head games with you. You strike me as a really intelligent woman. I mean, how adept are you when people in business situation, social situations start playing head games with you? Are you pretty hip to that?
I hope so. I would like to think I am. And, I tend to involve myself in people who don't, I'm trying to think of a better word, but all I can think of is a bad word.
Yeah.
That really try to trick you. So I really just try to deal with people that are very honest. All I can think of is bullshit. This is a bad word.
Okay. Now, got a question. This is actually for a story that I'm going to do a year down the road. I'm always fascinated when they
Okay.
reshoot portions of films. Now, a sequence at the end of this movie, and this is going to be a year from now, where your officer gets run over. Now, they reshot that. Now, why did they do that?
Well, because initially it was really all we reshot was like a piece of me being sort of put in this position of danger where I was going to be run over. I think it was a situation where it was so immediate that he was hit, and I was across the road, and I was like, and people thought I was beckoning him to be hit by a car. So it was important that it was screen direction, so that we came from the same direction, and that he was pulling me out of the way in order to sort of save me and, sort of lose himself. So.
As an actress, last question, how does it feel when they call you back? Do you have mixed feelings about that, or sometimes do you think, oh, this is good?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just go, why? Oh, but other times you're like, oh, I totally understand. And in the case of this film, I really understood that, it was a logistic problem and people weren't relating on camera with what was happening, and we're seeing it as sort of this bizarre thing. I mean, I think people were laughing or something when he died because it looked so bizarre. So now I think it's taken with the gravity that was supposed to be there.
I'm thinking of awkward scenes to shoot in the film. The pool scene. Now, how waterlogged were you by the end of the day?
They didn't heat the pool. It was really cold. And that was really hard because we could only do that scene in the pool twice, which isn't a nice thing to say to an actor, You can do it again if you want to freeze. So that was kind of hard. But, other than that, I think it turned out well, despite, if anything in the film, that's my one thing. I really wish we had gotten a chance to sort of do that again because we were so cold. And Ryan was stuttering on one of the takes, and I was stuttering and chattering, and it's bad. So
No, no.
I hope people can see through that.
Okay. No, that didn't come across. That was cool. So now, intriguing props to work with. Now, the Jaguar in this car. There's an interesting story to the car. Now tell me about that.
The car.
Yeah.
That it's a death trap when you're driving it. Yeah, it's really hard to drive. It was a kit car, and I had to drive it on the Long Island Expressway, which I've never driven in New York. So that was kind of perilous. But it's a beautiful car.
It's funny. Dangerous Liaisons and Valmont were two of my favorite films. It's funny. It's nice to see these classic stories coming back in a modern setting. Do you think if Romeo and Juliet hadn't been a box office hit, do you think this movie would have been made?
I think it definitely would have been a struggle. I think that movie opened a lot of doors for, youth-oriented films, and also, for showing people that young people can do serious work, and it can be received in that way. So I really do think they opened a door for us.